Welcome back to Beauty Marks Podcast, a space where we embrace our marks acquired through our journey. My name is Elizabeth Savillon, and welcome to another episode of this podcast. I'm here at Hi Hello Labs in downtown Orlando, and if you have any podcast or creative needs, this is the place. Their team is amazing, and I'm not just saying that. I've been working with them all this year and just really excited for this space. And also, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to this podcast and leave a review. That helps to grow this podcast. And for this month that we are turning 3 years, that would mean so much. And also, if you want to see the video podcast episode, you can go on YouTube and subscribe. We are almost at 200 subscribers, which is big. And we're growing, and I'm posting short content there as well as on TikTok. And so all that helps us grow. And so thank you for joining us. This past weekend though, I actually went to a childhood friend's wedding in Oklahoma, and I know, like, what is in Oklahoma? So I actually was raised there, and I hadn't gone in 13 years. So my friend Maribel, which congratulations to her and Brian, they got married, and we were close in middle school and stayed close and still stayed in touch all the way through now. So it has been 13 years since I physically saw her, but we would always be on social media, texting, calls. We were staying up to date with each other's lives. And she had always told me, like, I'm going to invite you to my wedding. She has been with this guy for almost 6 years, and it has been amazing to see her flourish and where she's at. And she always told me, like, you're going to be invited. And like, at first I was like, maybe she's just kidding. But no, she really invited me. And she's like, I want you to be there. Like, you are someone so special to me. And like, you have seen me grow all these years, and we were really close. And she actually listens to the podcast too. And so that was so nice of her. But honestly, I was so excited. And I was like, when will I ever go back to Oklahoma? Like, I will never just randomly be like, where do I go? Like, Oklahoma. So I thought this would be a great opportunity to go and reconnect with old friends. And I do still have actually a few childhood friends there that I still keep in contact today. And I don't know about you guys, but maybe if you moved around a lot or you were raised somewhere else, like, you still kind of keep up to date with certain people through socials, or maybe like you actually don't. So but those memories that you make with those people, like, they were such core memories. And so I think back to like my elementary, middle school years, like, of some special friends that I had, some crazy adventures that we went and did. I also got to see my second grade best friend, and she has 2 kids now, and she's just an amazing mom. And we were just like recapping, you know, how it's been. And like, we were going down the streets that we would go to school and like our favorite spots. And I was getting like so excited for like the smallest things. Like, when I would see like this Chinese spot we would go to all the time, I was like, oh my God. And I was like recording it. And she's like, oh my God, it's funny to see it through your eyes that you get excited for like the most minimal things. And I'm like, I know, but like, all those places brought me so much memories. And I actually rented a car and I drove through the streets, and it was like going through, because I left there when I was around 13, so like half of ninth grade. And I always told my parents, I will be back. I'm going to come back when I turn 18, and I'm going to move back here. And then look at me now. I am 27 and living in Florida, and I love it. So during the time though, what I missed and what was so hard was like the friendships and the people that just became family, because we didn't have family over there. And if you've heard my previous episodes, you would know that we moved over there when I was 6 years old to really start our whole life. And it was just me and my sisters and my parents. So all the friends that we made through like church, through school, that was our family. Those are the people that we hung out with on Thanksgiving, in Christmas time, on birthdays. Like, so that's really who my family was. It wasn't my family in Miami. So that's also like my attachment to my family is a little different than other people because of that, because we were far for a very, very long time. So going back with my best friend, like, we were driving around and just seeing all the spots. I went to go try like Mexican corn at this like super good spot at a grocery store that they just know how to make it. I literally ate Mexican food all weekend, and it was like the best ever, because here in Orlando, they do not have Mexican food like there. And a friend, I ended up getting my flight delayed, and that was like a whole thing in itself. And so one of my friends, Lily, hosted me. So thank you, Lily and Mario, for hosting me. And they were super sweet, literally cooked carne asada and did rice, beans, like the whole thing at their house. Like within an hour, they're like making this whole meal, and they were just so sweet to me. And I just want to thank you, because literally being in someone's house that makes me feel such at home meant so much. So thank you guys. And they really like gave me all the traditional like Mexican, the candy, they made me a margarita, all the stuff. And I forgot what the name is. It's maybe you know, Viv. The chips, and then you put the sauce on it. The chicken inside? No. It's like a snack. It's like a bag that's like circle with like...
Oh, sabritas.
Sabritas, okay. So I had sabritas, thank you, Viv, with the hot sauce. I think it's not tapatio. It's like another sauce that you put on it, but... Cholula, yes. So it was super good. And I honestly opened that whole bag, and I hadn't had it it's probably since I went to Mexico, actually, a few years ago. And I had it there, and I was like eating the whole thing. And then it was funny because I'm like, I shouldn't eat this much. Like, I take this away, please. And they're like, no, like, when was the last time you had it? But I definitely enjoyed it. And it just brought back all the memories of the food, the people that I hadn't seen since middle school. And we were literally like adults here. And I went out to not even downtown Tulsa one of the nights to this like lounge that they have there, but it's just the culture is so different there versus here. Like here, like if you say lounge, it's like, ooh, you're going to downtown, but over there it's just like a small street, and it's like just a few places. And so Tulsa is definitely very different and very small, and everything is like 10 to 15 minutes away from each other. And if you say like 30 minutes, that's super far for them. There's no traffic. And I remember one of the days that the wedding was going to be like a little bit further from where we were staying. And she's like, well, that's like 30 minutes away. Like, we can drive together. And I'm like, 30 minutes? Like, that's how much I drive to like go to my salsa class. Like, that's like a usual commute for me. I was like, girl, it's okay. So I got to drive around, see some childhood friends. Also Katia, I saw her, which she's amazing. And she was also a family friend, like my mom's best friend, that had a daughter and 2 boys. And so we were raised really close together. So it was nice seeing her and just talking about like how we grew up, all the memories that we had, and just like to see where we are today. I feel like there's just a lot of things that sometimes you're like, wow, like this is where I came from. Like these were like core memories, but also like core experiences that I lived that shaped who I am today. So when I was with Mayra, which is my childhood friend, she took me to the street where I was of the house. So like how we moved around a lot. I still remember one house that we lived there for like, I would say the longest time. And that was about like 5 years. And for us, that was huge because we were consistently moving and we didn't have like a home. But in that house, we had a room that my dad had made for us because we were all 3 girls in the house, and he made us like a playroom. And so it was like a colorful like playroom it was like purple, pink, yellow, definitely not aesthetic, but it was really cute. And then on the door, we put our hands. So it was like my older sister and my younger sister, we put our hands painted in different colors. And we played Barbies, we watched movies there. And those were like really good times, in that house. But there were also sad times. There was the time that the real reason why I don't like cats is because in my childhood home, my childhood cat got run over, and it like literally died like under my bed at that house. So like we actually buried the cat in the backyard. So like the first thing, literally when I see the house, I like get a little emotional, and I literally thought about my cat. So it was like funny, but it's like all the things that bring you those memories that bring you back to those moments. And there was other moments like with my parents and my sister and me. We would fight a lot in that house, and we had some like scary situations that I remember that because my parents worked a lot and we would stay home by ourselves, and there was just some moments that I remember that were very scary, us three being alone, like under 10 years old. So it's, it like brings all of that back together. But the house has definitely changed. The street definitely has changed so much. But I had sent the pictures to my family, and they're like, wow, like it's been so long. I'm like, I know. So I was sending them pictures for everything. Like, here's this restaurant, or here's this store, like the silly things, but they were living through it with me. And just through that time, I really enjoyed it. I really had a great time, and really brought me back to see like how far we've all come, of people that you grew up with, where they're at, that they're doing really good, that they have established themselves, they're figuring things out, they are either married or have kids or still trying to navigate life. And so it was just so like heartfelt, to be able to be there and then see Maribel like get married, and to see her like just really happy and thriving. It was like it felt like 13 years hadn't passed. Like it was like, okay, you're here in flesh. Like we literally looked at each other like, you're here in flesh, it's you. So it was a really sweet moment. And then the venue place was stunning because here it's like so flat. So in Oklahoma there's actually like hills and stuff. So it was like literally her wedding was like on the top of like a mountain, and you can like oversee like the water, and just it was a stunning view. I was on an incline. When you went to the ceremony, you're like, it's kind of like on an incline, and everybody was like in heels, and everybody was like almost falling and busting their butt, which that was funny. But luckily we made it through, and got to enjoy that, and just see a lot of people, also random people that I saw that like recognized me, and I was like, oh my God, it's you. So we had a good time, and kind of like wrapping up the trip, it was great seeing everybody, but also the day that I was traveling, I returned the car, and I rented the car to go around the town and like do my own thing. And it reminded me of like my time when I went to LA, that I rented a car all by myself, and I like drove around to everywhere that I went. And for some people that have never struggled with like feeling safe within yourself or codependency, maybe you don't relate to it as much. But for someone that has always been in a relationship or always felt the need to have someone to do things, so I would always wait around or wait to have someone with me, because I was scared to do things by myself. This was huge. And like this weekend definitely felt like a win, to be able to feel comfortable with myself, to feel safe, like me and the GPS and Jesus. That's all I need in the car. Like, it was just like I was navigating. I got lost a few times, but I wasn't freaking out. Like I was okay. And just getting to that place for me is huge, because in the past 2.5 years, I have been working on feeling like that confidence of independence, and feeling like I'm capable of doing these things, and I have the capacity to do it, and I'm not going to live my life scared. Like I can defend myself, like I'm a grown up, but also to feel empowered, to know that I'm at a good place to enjoy my own company, which for so long I didn't know how to do that, and I felt awkward. But like I literally in the airport went to have like lunch. Like I don't find that awkward, as before that stuff would like give me a lot of anxiety, or like I would just feel like everyone's looking at me. But I feel good. And so just want to share that with someone and encourage someone that maybe you feel like, oh my God, I can never do that. And it's not for everyone. And I'm not saying that if you don't, like, that makes you a kind of different person, but it's just that for me and my journey, if you are single, don't let things stop you, and don't feel like you have to have someone or to be able to do those things that you enjoy, go on the trip, start the things that you want to do, because life is short. honestly. And I feel like you are capable and you have the capacity to do these things. So I hope you enjoyed this week's episode and just like a little recap of this past few weeks and my trip. And if you remember a childhood friend, definitely hit them up. And if you want to do that trip of maybe going back to like your old house or like going back to get those memories, like do so. Because I feel like it brings a lot of things up. Like when you're there in the streets that you grew up in and around the people that you have, like they've changed, but the love is still there for most of those relationships, which is beautiful. So I hope you share this podcast episode, subscribe, and leave a review, and I will see you guys next week.